Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for November 2023 Stampin' Class by Mail. I'm Brenda Cardinal of stampintulip.stampinup.net, and I'm excited for you to make your adorable holiday cards featuring the Beary Christmas Suite found in Stampin' Up's September to December 2023 mini catalog. I've teamed up with Gina Wiesman, a fellow demonstrator and team member of mine, to offer these monthly classes by mail. This month, it's Gina's turn to show you how to stamp and assemble your cards, and next month, it'll be my turn. So be sure to watch to the end of the video for a sneak peek of the cards I've designed for December's class. Have fun making your cards, and now here's Gina.
Thanks, Brenda. I'm Gina Wieselman of MySweetPaper.com, and I can't wait to show you how to stamp and assemble your cards using the Beary Christmas Suite by Stampin' Up. If you ordered a class by mail kit from either Brenda or me, make sure to pull out all of those supplies. You'll also need the stamp set, ink pads, and other supply items shown here. Click subscribe on this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and please reach out to Brenda or me if you need any supplies or would like to learn more about becoming a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator or hosting an event. Let's get started. Our first card design is the Warm Wishes card. If you ordered a class by mail kit, all these parts and pieces were cut to size and shipped right to your house. If you didn't order a class by mail kit, follow the link in the video description to sign up for one of our email lists to get all of our exclusive content, including supply lists with all the measurement details. All right, we are going to get started with our stamping. And for this card, we'll use a few different colors of ink, but we'll start with the Misty Moonlight. And the first thing that we're going to stamp is our Warm Wishes greeting on this little banner. And I punched that using our Banners Pick-a-Punch, which if you've taken a class by mail before, you know this is one of our favorite tools because it has 2 different types of punches at 3 different sizes. So it's really like 6 punches in one. So I'll bring in my Warm Wishes stamp, ink that up, and I'm just going to center it on this panel. The next thing I'm going to do is bring out my card base, and I'm going to go ahead and fold that in half and use my bone folder for a nice crisp fold right away. And then I'll just bring out some scratch paper to set underneath that because we are going to be stamping our snowflake image. And it looks like I didn't do a great job of actually getting that perfectly in half. So let me try again. Okay, much better. So I'm just going to take the snowflake image and I'll start with the large one and just kind of randomly put that around the card. And I'm leaving some space because we do have the smaller snowflake image. And of course the middle of the card will be covered up, so we don't need to do as much with that. I'll bring out my smaller snowflake. And I'm just trying to kind of fill in. Okay, maybe I'll do one more right here. And then that's all the stamping in Misty Moonlight. If you would like to stamp either your inside panel or your envelope, you could do that with snowflakes. I think I'm actually going to do that with the cute little bears. So I'm going to be done with the Misty Moonlight. The next thing I'm going to stamp is my Very Vanilla cardstock. So I have one piece that's large and that will go on the inside of the card. And then the smaller piece is for this element. So in order to position my stamps, I'm going to just bring out my Designer Series paper and this strip of Misty Moonlight. I'm not adhering them yet, but I just want to lay them on the cardstock so that I know approximately where I want the little bears to go. So I'll be stamping them using my Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'll start with the big bear that's sitting down. And I don't want him sitting directly on the cardstock. I want you to, actually be able to see the bottom of him. So I'm going to position him like that. And then I'll get the cute little bear and go right there. And I just love this cute little bear. So that is what I want to add to the inside of my card. And I'm going to add him to my envelope as well. Okay, that's all of my memento stamping. And then the very last piece that I'm going to add is the little scarf on my bear. So I'll take out my real red ink up, and I'm just going to add that. All right, with my stamping complete, I'm going to go ahead and start with the assembly. So I'm going to bring in this stamped panel and my 2 pieces of paper that I will be adhering. And I'm going to just apply some Stampin' Seal to this designer series paper and line that up like so. I often try to cut pieces a little bit long if they're going to be adhered to another piece of paper like this. So if you have any excess, go ahead and just trim that with your paper snips. And then for this piece, you can decide how you would like to adhere it. You could definitely use your Stampin' Seal, or if you prefer, you could use your liquid glue as well. And so I might do that and just add the tiniest little strip on there. Okay. And then once again, I'll just come to the back and trim any excess. Next, we'll bring out our real red cardstock and we'll adhere to that. So we're just going for a narrow border along the outside there. And then let's go ahead and add our Warm Wishes panel. And you can decide where you'd like to line it up on this. I did line it up with the edge of the designer series paper, not the edge of the real red. And I kind of just based it where I saw natural lines across the designer series paper. And so I lined it up accordingly. I found that was an easy way to make it nice and straight. Okay, let's bring out our card base and the stamped insert. And I'll add my adhesive. Get this on the inside. And then we will pop this up. We'll use our dimensionals. I have the mini dimensionals handy, so I'll use a bunch of those. Of course, you could use your full-size dimensionals as well, and that would give you fewer release papers, so that might be a better approach, but I have these here, so I'm gonna go with it. Okay, that was a lot of release papers, but I got all of them and can add this to the front. And bringing our stamped envelope back into view, there is our first card design. Our second card design is our Christmas tree fun fold. Here are the parts and pieces for this design. Go ahead and pull these pieces out from your kit and get ready to stamp. Once again, we're going to start with our stamping. And this card is a very monochromatic look, so we'll be using our Mossy Meadow ink, and that is the only color that we will need. So first, we're going to start with this panel, which goes on the front of the card. And what you're going to do is stamp 2 trees on the panel, one on the right and one on the left. And the placement isn't super critical. You want it to the left and to the right so that there's some space in the middle, because we're going to stamp the third Christmas tree on here. And then we'll also come back with the stamp that pairs with it and try to fill this tree in a little bit. Okay. Next, we'll take our Very Vanilla, the larger piece, and I'm going to stamp a greeting on that for the inside of the card. And I went with the Christmas is Better Together. And so for placement, we want to make sure this is hidden. So you don't want to go up too high or down too low. So I'm just going to aim for the center with this one. And then finally, I'm going to bring out my envelope and add a tree. You could, of course, add anything or keep your envelope blank, and that would be just fine too. Okay, that is all of our stamping. And as we get ready to assemble, I'm going to bring this stamped image out and start fussy cutting it. There is not a die that matches with this image, so I will just do it the old-fashioned way with fussy cutting. But I think that's actually just fine in this case. It's not too complex of an image. And as you're fussy cutting, if you're looking for tips, my biggest tip, if you notice how I'm cutting, I'm keeping the scissors pretty still. And when I get to a corner, it's the paper that I'm turning, not the scissors. And I find that that gives me greater control. So for this one, I'm just leaving a narrow border of Very Vanilla around the tree. Okay, and now we are ready to assemble. So I'm going to pull out my card base and I'm going to fold it along the score line and use my bone folder for a nice crisp fold there. And then I'm going to add my inner panel right away. So I'll just use my Stampin' Seal adhesive for that. And we'll center that up. Okay, next I will pull out this piece of Mossy Meadow and we're going to adhere this to this part. One fun thing is this piece was the exact extra piece from a typical card base. So I didn't have to do any extra cutting to get this element. It was just what I already had cut off for this fun fold. So that was kind of a nice design for this card. We'll go ahead and center this up. Okay. And then this part is going to go on the front, but first we need to add our designer series paper. And with this, you know, it's a pretty subtle pattern, but there are some Christmas trees, so it is a little bit directional. So you can just attend to that as you're determining the orientation of this paper. We're centering that on this flap. And then to adhere this, the most important thing is that we just want adhesive on the one side. So I'm going to put it all the way at the edge here. And then I'm going to come here and add it to this part of my card base. And that way I get good coverage on the adhesive, but I know for sure that I'm not going to spill over beyond where I want it. So I'm just aiming for center on this. And then we'll take our Christmas tree, the one that we fussy cut, and we're going to use some mini Stampin' Dimensionals to adhere that and pop it up. And so we'll just center this, and it will overlap with the other trees that you've stamped, and that is just fine. And then the last detail that we're going to add is the embellishment of the adhesive backed glitter sequins. And I just want to show these because they are really, really fun. They come in the 3 different colors and 2 different sizes. And they're really great because they are sequin-like, but they don't have that hole in the middle like sequins typically do. So I just think they look even more like Christmas ornaments, which is fun. And so your kit came with 3 of them for you across the 2 different sizes. So you maybe got 2 large and 1 small, or 2 small and 1 large, but you can just position them on the tree however you like. And with our stamped envelope, there is our second card design. And our final design is our Beary Christmas gift card holder. And here are the parts and pieces for this design. Now we are going to get started with stamping for this card, but first I want to show you how the gift card operates. So here's where the gift card holder is. You can just tuck a card in there. And so we're going to start by taking this and folding to make this gift card holder. So this was scored twice, and I'm going to fold down the top, that large piece, and then fold up on the bottom here, and that's what will become the gift card holder. And I do this because we're going to stamp some snowflakes on the inside, and so we'll get started with that. So here is my Misty Moonlight ink pad, and I'm going to just go ahead and stamp a few different snowflakes. On this design, I just kind of alternated between the large and the small, and I think I like how that looked. And then I'm going to add just a couple of snowflakes to my envelope as well. I might bring my scratch paper back and go off the edge a little bit. Okay. So there's the envelope. And then for the rest of my stamping, I'm going to pull out my Merry Christmas greeting, and we will stamp that on the center of this banner. Once again, I punch this using the banner's pick-a-punch. Okay. And then I'm going to keep that Misty Moonlight out, but I'm also going to bring out my memento, and we're going to stamp the bear. So with your kit, we did include the negative of this bear. So if you had a stamp positioning tool, you could certainly use that to line it up perfectly. But in this case, since it is a photopolymer stamp, I think I'll be able to do it okay just by looking through. Yep, that looks pretty good. And then with that bear stamped, I'm going to go ahead and grab the scarf. And once again, I just think this is so fun to give the polar bear a little coordinating scarf. I didn't get full transfer there. Okay. That is all of our stamping. So we are going to get started with assembly. And first I'll bring out this piece of thick basic white cardstock and my 2 pieces of designer series paper. And I'm just going to be putting these on each side. So I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal, and as we're positioning these, the goal is to have equal borders on all 3 sides. So that's what I'm aiming for. Okay, and then I will do the same with this piece as well. All right. Then we have this piece, which we already stamped, but I want to go ahead and make our gift card holder. So for this, I am going to use tear and tape adhesive, and I'm just going to put a little strip as close to the edge as I can get. And the tear and tape is just a little bit stronger than our typical Stampin' Seal. And so since we're going to be sliding things in and out of here, that's why I'm going with that. So I'll just fold this back up and apply some pressure. Okay, Now this piece gets added to our card base. So I'll just flip it over. And I'm going to be generous with this adhesive as well. And so we're just going to take this and position it like so. Okay, now we can continue building. So I'll bring out my balmy blue cardstock. And this was embossed using the super fun Snowflake Sky 3D embossing folder. And so I'll go to the back side and put adhesive on the debossed side. And position that in the center of the flap. Okay. Next, I'm going to put together my banner. And so all three of these pieces were cut using the banner's pick-a-punch, and they're just slightly different sizes. I think they're a 1/4 inch different from one size to the next. So it's going to create a nice little border for us. So we'll stack up all three of these. And then for this, I'm going to use my Stampin dimensionals, but I'm not going to adhere it yet because first I want to put on this piece, which was punched using the decorative circle punch. So I'm going to get some adhesive on here. And I'm using this just to kind of guide where I'm putting it. And I'm going to put it about center from left to right, and actually pretty much centered from top to bottom as well. And then once I have that placed, then I will follow up with my mini Stampin dimensionals again. And we will pop up this banner. And I want just about equal amounts hanging off each side. That looks good. I'll bring out my stamped polar bear and add him. And so for positioning this, I didn't like the look of it just floating out there. I kind of liked it being anchored to something. So that's why I have it almost touching the banner so that it looks like he's kind of just walking across the banner. And then once again, some of the adhesive backed sequins. And again, you got 3 of them with your kit, perhaps 2 large and 1 small or vice versa. So you can go ahead and place them wherever you like. Now, I do want to mention that I used most of the elements from this suite of products, but the one that we didn't use is this really pretty balmy blue sparkle ribbon. And you can see I tied a knot and I tried to add that, and I also tied a bow, and I was thinking about adding that, and it ended up competing too much for this particular card design, but I wanted to just show you this ribbon because it is absolutely beautiful. And with our stamped envelope, there is our final card design. Thanks for participating in this month's Stampin' Class by Mail, and here's Brenda with a few more things for you.
Thanks for showing us how to make those very cute holiday cards, Gina. Next month, it's my turn to design and share the cards with you, and I'm excited to show you a sneak peek of the 3 card designs featuring the Year to Celebrate stamp set and elements from the Merry Bold and Bright suite, both found in Stampin' Up's September to December 2023 mini catalog. The easiest way to take December's class is to order a class kit by mail from either Gina or me. In your class kit, you'll receive all your supplies cut and ready to go, embellishments, and envelopes, and it'll all be shipped right to your door. All you need to do is add a few additional items, the stamp set, ink pads, and a few other things shown here. The registration deadline to guarantee your kit is December 5th, 2023. Also, be sure to check out the links in the video description for a couple key things. First, a link to sign up for one of our email lists to receive supply lists with measurements for each of our Stampin' Class by Mail classes, and also to receive information about our upcoming classes. And second, a link to a special Pinterest board we curated with even more fun ways that you could use this month's class supplies. Be sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And we'd love to hear from you, so please leave a comment on this video to let us know what your favorite card was this month. We'll see you next month for our next Stampin' Class by Mail, and until then, happy stamping!